The hotel loomed before me, its grand facade illuminated by the flickering glow of streetlights. I had been driving for hours, weary and in need of rest, when I stumbled upon this seemingly quaint establishment nestled on the outskirts of town. Little did I know, my decision to seek refuge within its walls would plunge me into a nightmare beyond imagination. As I stepped into the lobby, the air felt heavy with an oppressive stillness. The receptionist greeted me with a forced smile, her eyes betraying a hint of unease. Ignoring my instincts, I brushed off the feeling of foreboding and handed over my credit card in exchange for a room key. I made my way down dimly lit corridors, the sound of my footsteps echoing ominously against the walls. Finally, I reached room 237, my temporary sanctuary for the night. But as I inserted the key into the lock and pushed open the door, a chill swept through me like an icy breath. The room was shrouded in darkness, save for the faint glow of moonlight filtering in through the curtains. The air felt thick with an otherworldly presence, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was not alone. Ignoring my rising unease, I flicked on the light switch, illuminating the room in a harsh fluorescent glow. But the light did little to dispel the sense of dread that hung in the air like a suffocating fog. I tried to distract myself by unpacking my belongings and preparing for bed, but every creak of the floorboards and rustle of the curtains set my nerves on edge. It was as if the very walls of the room were alive with a malevolent energy, watching and waiting with bated breath. As midnight approached, I finally succumbed to exhaustion and crawled beneath the covers, hoping that sleep would offer respite from the growing sense of unease. But as I drifted off into uneasy slumber, my dreams were haunted by visions of shadowy figures lurking in the darkness, their eyes glowing with an unnatural light. I awoke with a start to the sound of whispered voices echoing through the room. At first, I thought it was just a trick of my imagination, a remnant of my troubled dreams. But as I listened closer, I realized that the voices were all too real. They spoke in hushed tones, their words indecipherable, yet filled with a sense of urgency and malice. Trembling with fear, I reached for the bedside lamp, but when I flicked the switch, the light remained stubbornly extinguished. Panic gripped me as I fumbled for my phone, desperate for any source of illumination. But when I glanced at the screen, I froze in terror. No signal. I was trapped in the darkness, alone with whatever unseen horrors lurked within the confines of room 237. With trembling hands, I groped for the door, my heart pounding in my chest as I prayed for escape. But as I turned the handle and pushed open the door, I was met with a sight that chilled me to the bone. Standing before me in the hallway was a figure cloaked in shadow, its eyes burning with an otherworldly light. It beckoned to me with a skeletal hand, its voice a haunting whisper in the darkness. With a scream of terror, I turned and fled, the sound of my footsteps echoing through the empty corridors as I raced towards the safety of the lobby. But even as I reached the relative safety of the lobby, I knew that the nightmare was far from over. For in that moment I realized that the hotel was not just a place of temporary refuge, but a prison from which there was no escape. And as long as room 237 remained shrouded in darkness, it would continue to claim unsuspecting souls like mine, lost to the eternal horrors that lurked within its walls. The old hotel stood like a forgotten relic, its once grand facade now weathered and worn by the passage of time. Nestled deep within the forest, it was said to be haunted by the ghosts of its past, a place where the spirits of the deceased lingered, trapped between the realms of the living and the dead. Intrigued by the rumors surrounding the abandoned hotel, a group of friends decided to venture into its decaying halls one fateful summer night. They sought adventure and excitement, unaware of the horrors that awaited them within. As they stepped through the crumbling entrance, a chill swept through them, and the air grew heavy with the weight of centuries-old secrets. The lobby was shrouded in darkness, illuminated only by the faint glow of moonlight filtering through broken windows. Undeterred by the eerie atmosphere, the friends pressed on, their footsteps echoing against the marble floors as they explored the hotel's labyrinthine corridors. Each room they entered seemed frozen in time, filled with remnants of its former occupants, a forgotten suitcase here, a dusty photograph there. But as they delved deeper into the heart of the hotel, they began to sense a presence watching them from the shadows. Whispers echoed through the empty halls, their words indecipherable yet filled with a sense of malevolence. Ignoring their growing unease, the friends continued their exploration, drawn inexorably towards the hotel's darkest secrets. It was not long before they stumbled upon a hidden staircase leading down into the depths of the building where no light dared to tread. Curiosity piqued, they descended into the darkness, their footsteps muffled by the thick layer of dust that coated the stairs. As they reached the bottom, they found themselves in a vast cavernous chamber, its walls lined with ancient symbols and strange artifacts. It was then that they heard it, the sound of ghostly wails echoing through the darkness, their mournful cries sending shivers down their spines. Terrified, they turned to flee, but it was too late. The spirits of the abandoned hotel had awoken, hungry for revenge against those who dared to disturb their eternal slumber. With each step they took, the walls seemed to close in around them, trapping them in a nightmarish labyrinth from which there was no escape. Desperate and alone, they fought to find a way out, but the hotel's malevolent spirits had other plans. In the end, they became just another chapter in the hotel's dark history, their screams echoing through the halls long after they had vanished without a trace. For in the abandoned hotel, the dead never truly rested, and those who dared to disturb their eternal rest were doomed to join them in their torment forevermore.